Hey there, Latin 2. So here we are, translation chapter 29. So what you want to do is finish translating, then come back here and then correct it. Don't erase things. I know you want to be perfect. You won't be. It's better to see your mistakes and see them corrected. So here we go. Cornelia prepared herself with the greatest speed. In a short time, the mother and the daughter were being carried through the city by slaves. There was a huge crowd of people in the streets. 4 slaves were running here and there. Well, actually, we could say 4 slaves, soldiers, men, gentlemen specifically, boys, and women were running here and there. Huge loads were being carried by slaves, for during the day nothing is being carried by vehicle inside the city. Everything which Cornelia sees delights her. And I'd point out most of this is present tense because it puts you in the action. Okay. Now she spots a poet reciting verses. Now she spots beggars begging, seeking money. Now she spots the most elegant litter, which is being carried by 8 slaves. In it being the litter, a fat man who is reading a book is reclining. Suddenly Cornelia spies 2 slaves hurrying through the road, or through the street, since they're in a city. Where did I go? Ah, yes. Of whom one is carrying a little pig. Little or tiny, or cutesy word for little. Lil. At that very moment, the pig escapes from his hands. "Be careful," shout the bystanders, but in vain. A certain man who is running through the city, running through the road, through the street, is not able to avoid the pig. He falls to the ground. In a short while, or for a short time, he lies in the mud groaning. From there, moved by anger, he seeks the slave from whom the pig escaped. There is a quarrel. Cornelia did not see the end of the quarrel because slaves already had carried the sedan chairs into another street. At last they arrived at the certain shop which they were seeking. They climbed down from the sedan chairs. Then Aurelia said, "Did you see that litter in which a fat man was laying back? He is one of the freedmen of the emperor himself. But what is happening? I see smoke and flames." All right, so that's that story. Now you can correct it and as you go. If you have any questions about it, of course, copy the line and send it to me. Say, "Hey, I had trouble with this. Here's why." Now that you finish translating, what I want you to do is turn to 29c, as in dog, and you're essentially just translating. Servi qui cistas portabant, huc illuc concursabant, Cistae quas servi portabant, plenae erant vestium. So the slaves who were carrying trunks were running here and there, hither and yon. The trunks which the slaves were carrying were full of clothing. Okay, that's all. And then do 29d as well. So it says, give the Latin for the relative pronoun. So I'm just going to read to you the relative pronoun, or the Latin with the pronoun. What I want you to do after that, though, is do the arrow trick. So what you're going to need to do probably is highlight the relative pronoun in, just pick a color. Highlight in pink. I don't care. Highlight it, and then also highlight its antecedent. That way I know that you know what it's referring back to. So, Homo, qui per viam currebat, ad terram cecidit. The man, and this is a regular man, not a gentleman, so the guy, the man who was running through the street fell to the ground. Okay? And that's all you need to do. I don't need you to actually parse it out, but if you want the extra practice, go ahead and parse it out and put it in parentheses next to the Latin. All right, so that's 29D. Then I want you to turn to 29E, and you're going to do this one as well. I don't need you to do anything besides label, whether it's a relative pronoun or a indefinite adjective or an interrogative adjective or an interrogative pronoun. You'll know if it's quod causal because it'll be saying because, and you'll know if it's quam exclamatory because there'll be an exclamation point. So let's do number 1 together. I'll do it out loud for you, okay? Aurigae quorum equi sunt celerrimi non semper vincent. So the charioteers, the horses of whom are very fast, will not always win. Okay? Quorum, I'm going to highlight that, and then next to it, I'm just going to say that it is a relative pronoun. That's all I got to do. Okay? So you do it, you translate it, and then you identify it. Okay? If you want to parse it, number, case, and gender, do it. Have fun. But all you need to do is do the highlighting. If we're in person, I'm going to make you do it. But distance, I get it. Then 29F. Okay? The bedroom in which the slave women were taking care of the hair of the mistress was not large. Okay? So cubiculum in quo ancillae crines dominae of them, so earum. So crines dominae earum currebat non ingens erat. Or you could say non magnum erat. Either one works. And that's how that works. So you'll probably want to rewrite that a bunch of times so you can get it written down. So do the English prompt and then do the Latin. What I want you to do when you're done with this is please send me 29C, 29D, 29E, and 29F with things highlighted as I've asked. Okay? And if you haven't read it already, read pages 16 and 17 because there's some good vocab in there. All right. Excited to see what you do. All right, I'm going to hit the button.